What up, CSBs? Welcome back to Common Sense Buffs. I am your host, CSB Leo, and today we're diving into why Jaylen Wester will be the starting inside linebacker for the Colorado Buffaloes this season. Now, you might be wondering why Jaylen Wester. Well, stick around because I'm about to break it down for you. But first, a very big shout out to all our latest subscribers who have been running up the numbers lately. I mean, subscriptions, views, watch time, likes, and shares. You guys have been amazing, and I appreciate the support. A special big shout out to the legendary East Coast Kev, Charles Muhammad 5172, Kamasi 5991, and JV4 Buffs, who commented, "Great first live. I just subscribed as a longtime Buff fan and student at CU. We love all the new fans and hope you get out to Boulder for a game. You will see why the kids love it there." Well, JV4 Buffs, I appreciate the invitation and the warm welcome to all of us new fans who are just coming along to Colorado football in the Coach Prime era. Hope to see you at a game in Boulder as well. So, everybody who's watching this video, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and let's keep running up the scope. All right, first off, I want to talk some hard facts. I'm going to read this article that is on Yahoo Sports written by Jack Carlo. Big shout out to you, Jack Carlo. I'm gonna run through it real quick. So, brothers and former Florida Atlantic standouts Jaylen and LeJontay Wester are two of Colorado football's most intriguing incoming transfer portal players. LeJontay, which everybody knows that name, right? He's been shining ever since he got to CU. He balled out in the Buff spring game, while the younger Jaylen adds some much needed talent to Colorado's linebacker room. According to Pro Football Focus College, and we'll be digging into the Pro Football Focus score and what it consists of. It says the younger Wester comes to Boulder as the second highest graded returning linebacker in the Big 12 conference. Now, what's crazy is if in any other circumstances, if we got a commitment from the second highest graded returning linebacker in the Big 12 conference, I would assume there'd be a lot more buzz about that acquisition and the strength of our linebacker room. I have a theory why that isn't the case, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. So, Jaylen's overall grade of 84.5 ranks behind only Iowa State's Caleb Bacon, who checked in at 89.3. The only other returning Big 12 linebacker who graded above an 80 was UCF's Zaire, I think that's how it's pronounced, Alexander at 84.1. So let's get into the stats real quick. At FAU last season, Jaylen played in 11 games. He had 5 starts. And maybe that's what his 2024 might look like, right? I'm saying he's a starter, but does that necessarily mean that he's a starter on game one? I don't know. And we'll talk about why I think at bare minimum he should be a starter situationally with the kind of running teams that we're going to face in the Big 12. So at FAU last season, Jaylen played again in 11 games with 5 starts while racking up 55 total tackles, 7.5 tackles for loss. That means he's making plays in the backfield. He's shutting down the run before it can even get started. He also added 1 sack, 1 forced fumble, and 2 pass breakups. The Palmetto, Florida product, Coach Prime loves his Florida players, had 58 total tackles, 5.5 tackles for loss, and an interception during his freshman campaign. So he's been playing since he was a freshman. He will now be going into his 3rd season. That's a lot of football to see. And he's been making plays all along the way. All right. So here's the lineup. Okay. The highest graded returning Big 12 linebackers. Of course, Caleb Bacon right there at the top. And we have the number 2 linebacker helping to strengthen our room. So let me give you the case for why I think, all right, we need to be taking a long, hard look at Jaylen Wester as our starting inside linebacker. So we already went over the facts, but I'm going to recap it a little bit. Jaylen Wester received an overall grade of 84.5 from Pro Football Focus last season. He is the second highest rated linebacker in the Big 12 Conference. That's no small recognition. Pro Football Focus is not just throwing around these rankings. Their reputation is on the line, and the way that they grade is very interesting, and that's the next thing that we're going to go to. But it's no small feat to be ranked in this way, and it shows that Wester has the skills and performance to back up his game. I'm going to shoot to um, another content creator real quick, and he's going to give us, so that 84.5 is an average. It's an average of a few metrics. I think there are 3 or 4 metrics that go into that average. So big shout out to Skull Buffs, Go Buffs. Now, Pro Football Focus is a subscription based service. I don't have a subscription, so I'm relying on the accuracy of Skull Buffs, Go Buffs content here. So hopefully this is trustworthy. If it's not, please in the comments help us out if you have access to Pro Football Focus. All right, so he gets an average of 84.5 on his defensive score, but look at his run defense numbers here. He's at a 94.2 for run defense. And when we get into how the scoring is done, you'll realize that he's making a lot of big plays against the run. And what did I say before about the fact that we're now in a conference and everybody talks about how many good running teams there are? Kansas, Kansas State, Oklahoma State, Utah. We're gonna face a lot of teams that are gonna tote that rock. UCF. Okay, these are all games that we want to be in and we want to win, and we're going to have to be able to stop the run. It was a big area that needed to be addressed last year. I don't think Prime was just bringing in bodies to fill the linebacker room. He was going after guys who were going to make a difference in the areas that we really needed to improve. But you can see there, or maybe he doesn't necessarily start against a team that passes the ball a lot. He doesn't grade out very well in coverage, and neither does he on the pass rush. But I don't think a lot of the heavy lifting in terms of the pass rush is going to fall to the linebackers this year because we have a stacked group of edge rushers, right? You got Keaton Wade, you have Deion Hayes, you have Samuel Okunlola, you have a lot of players that can get after the quarterback and put some pressure. And with the hogs up the middle, guys like Chidozie, Anquin Barnes, Torian Carter, Shane Cokes, all chewing up blocks, is going to give the opportunity to a linebacker like Jaylen Wester to go out there and run around and make plays. And unfortunately, I don't have any great highlights or game film of him. But if you go on the internet and maybe you go in Buffed in Prime, where they did a big breakdown of a lot of his plays, you can see how aggressive he plays. And that plays into one of my reasons why I think he's going to be a starter. So before we get into the Pro Football Focus scoring, I just need to go ahead and address the elephant in the room. I asked you guys if we had the second ranked a PFF linebacker, wouldn't we automatically assume that he's going to be starting in 2024? Well, here's the issue: is Jaylen Wester's size. At 6 foot, 205 pounds, he's considered undersized for an inside linebacker, especially when compared to some of his teammates like Levante Bentley and Nakai Hill Green, who are bigger, and Trevor Woods, who might be around the same size, maybe a little bit bigger now. Maybe he put some weight on over the summer and in the off season. But Trevor Woods is a known playmaker, right? Very dynamic, and he's one of Coach Prime's favorite players, and he's even been Coach Prime described him as the next Brian Urlacher. So Trevor's been in there getting better. But here's why all of that doesn't matter. What do you think? You think he's undersized or not? I'm going to give you three reasons here. First, Jaylen plays bigger than he is. When you watch this guy on tape, he doesn't strike me as a person who thinks of himself as undersized. When he is in the box, he is aggressive and fearless. Once he makes a read, he attacks with speed and precision. His size and quickness allow him to maneuver around opposing offensive lines and get to the ball carrier. You cannot teach that kind of intensity. All right. So I want to flip real quick to the Pro Football Focus scoring before I give you some of the other reasons why I think he's going to be a starter this year. So let's just look at the grade. Like I said, these are not vanity metrics. Pro Football Focus is a grading system that is very highly regarded. It's used all across the NFL and college to grade players. And when I read through this here, you'll see how the system works. So it says the PFF grading system isolates the play of each run defender on every play. So they're not just looking at, at the end of the game, what your stats were, and that's going to affect your score. They're going to look at how you played throughout the entire game. And it says good run defenders will disrupt and finish plays while playing with sound gap control and discipline. This should all shine through in the PFF system, which looks to add proper context to the execution of each play. Now, positively graded play. So what they have is a scale that ranges on the low end from -2, so you can have 2 points deducted, as high as +2, or you can have 2 points added. and then it's graded in point 0.5 or half point increments for the quality of the play. So if you could just imagine if you're playing linebacker and they run a draw play up the middle and you are supposed to have that gap, but you didn't get that gap, you missed the gap or you missed the tackle and the guy takes off for an 80-yard run play, you can imagine that that's going to be a -2. Whereas it's 3rd and 2 and it's in the fourth quarter and it's a play that really matters. And you as a linebacker, you take on the block, you shed it, and you make the tackle for loss. That is definitely a +2 type play. So this is how the system really is meant to work. So disruption and finish are two of the easiest ways to earn positive grades in the PFF system. Defeating blocks and then making tackles in and around the line of scrimmage will earn positives. And as with other areas of the grading system, the speed of the win determines the level of the grade, right? So how quickly are you shutting down that run play? I mean, as soon as the ball is snapped, are you in the backfield making the tackle? So let's look at a few people. Again, I don't own this content. This content belongs to PFF. I'm using it for fair use. So Aaron Donald starts to play. Oh my God, he's a monster. He's right here. He comes across, makes the tackle, and this is on a great, great running back in Alvin Kamara. Just absolutely rocks him, right? That's going to get you a +2. He's already in the blackfield. Kamara doesn't even have a chance to realize that he's about to get tackled. So great play there. That's going to grade very highly. Here's another play from another defensive lineman, Damon Harrison. This is against Dallas. As soon as he gets the ball, he makes the play. He sheds the block and makes the play. One of my favorite inside linebackers, Luke, I think his name is Kuechly. I can never pronounce his name. But look how he scrapes, reads the gap, ducks under the block, and makes the short tackle. I mean, helmet in your chest, right? You're not going anywhere. Runner barely has the ball, tries to cut, and the linebacker's right there. Now, this is what Jaylen Wester grades very highly at, which is why I love him in terms of the kind of player that we need playing inside linebacker for us during the season against really, really, really good running teams. All right, now I already gave you the first thing. He plays bigger than he is. The second thing is that he's a short tackler. You're not going to have that kind of grade against the run if you cannot make tackles against dynamic running backs. If Jaylen makes contact with the ball carrier, they're going down, and that's period. His tackling technique is solid and he doesn't miss. This reliability in bringing down opponents is crucial for any defense, and it's one of the reasons why he stands out. Go check out his highlight tapes. You'll see short tackler. He's going to bring that runner down and he plays hard. He's trying to make a play. You can tell that he loves the game. And that's my third thing. Jaylen loves the game and plays with reckless abandon. And we know that that's what Coach Prime is looking for. Somebody who loves the game, who's not just in it for the NIL or the collective money, but really has their eyes set on the NFL and they approach the game with a pro attitude. Every play he makes, he celebrates with passion. You'll see it every time he makes a play, right? He's hyped up and he's hyping his teammates up. His energy is contagious and his teammates feed off of it. He's not just a talker, he leads by example on the field. That's the kind of enthusiasm and leadership that is going to be invaluable to the Colorado Buffaloes or for any team for that matter, especially like we are looking to make a mark this season. So don't be shocked if you see Jaylen Wester starting alongside Bentley, Hillgreen, or Woods. The competition will be fierce during fall camp this year. But one thing is for sure, Jaylen Wester will be overly prepared when his number is called. All right, folks, remember, size isn't everything. It's about heart, skill, and determination. Jaylen Wester has all of that in spades. Thank you for tuning in to Common Sense Buffs. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our Colorado Buffaloes football updates. See you next time. And as always, Sko Buffs.